My mother-in-law doesn't like me at all. She's one of the typical moms who doesn't want her son to be stolen away by another woman. So my existence alone is enough for her to resent me. It doesn't help that I don't practice her religion and that we don't plan on baptizing our children. This is a mutual decision between my husband and I. For a little extra context, she sends me Bible verses and quotes about being subservient to your husband on a regular basis to get under my skin. After telling her very nicely and calmly to stop once, she had a full-blown meltdown/tantrum about how I won't let her save me, so I just ignore her messages now. My daughter, 4-year-old, loves Christmas. She loves decorating the house and helping bake the cookies, and she gets to pick the tree out this year. She's so excited, it's literally so adorable. She's been talking about it since July. She also is a very firm believer in Santa. She already has a mile-long list of things she wants him to get her. Side note, she isn't spoiled at all. Some of the things on her list are random items she sees at the grocery store or things on our shelves. Our dog that we've had for 6 years is on her list. She just likes writing them, aka making me write them. My mother-in-law was over today, and my daughter was asking me to add another random item to her Santa list. As my mother-in-law heard her say it, she immediately responds to her saying that Santa isn't real, and that me and my husband are who buys the gifts under the tree. This obviously went over like a lead balloon with my child, but my mother-in-law looked pretty happy with herself for the shitstorm she just created for me and for breaking my daughter's heart. I immediately told her to pack her shit and to get the fuck out of my house, and that she wasn't welcome near my baby anymore. She tried to respond that she did us a favor, and that our child shouldn't be thanking a man who doesn't exist for the nice things we do for her. So I responded that it was a rich statement coming from someone who has spent their entire life praying to a man who also doesn't exist. I also told her I was very sorry. She let the devil breed hate in her heart. Then I slammed the door in her face. Husband is completely on my side and is completely shattered that his mom ruined something so special for our daughter, but we've received a few texts and calls from his siblings who think I was out of line and that I should be apologizing to her. I'm still so angry that I can't really judge for myself if I'm the wrong or not, but so really don't think that I am. I think she crossed an uncrossable line, and that I'm justified in not letting her have a future relationship with my daughter or any other children we might have later. Not looking for advice, just to talk shit and vent. Update. Since the events from the last post, things have only escalated in terms of her behavior. We've kept our stance on not letting her see our daughter, and we've had limited contact with her ourselves. But she's tried to find ways to circumvent my husband and I to gain access to our baby. She started sending our daughter presents that are clearly from Amazon, but with gift notes that say, "From the real Santa," and "Grandma will see you soon," and other insane things like that. We've been documenting all of this, and we started donating all of the toys and clothing to local charities or to our daughter's school's community pantry so a child with nothing can have them instead. We've also had my husband's sister call us and tell us his mom is on the verge of being suicidal because we took her only happiness away from her, to which we replied that she should be checked into inpatient if she's making those kinds of claims. Sorry if I sound cruel, but I won't let someone manipulate me like that. We hadn't heard from anyone regarding our mother-in-law in a week or so, so we started to feel like maybe she was calming down and accepting that this situation was caused by her own actions. What we didn't remember was that she's authorized to pick our daughter out from school. Yesterday, I got a call from the front office of her school saying that my mother-in-law had called and said she was on her way to pick our baby up for a surprise adventure with Grandma and to make sure she was waiting in the office so they could leave as quickly as possible. When I got this call, I literally grabbed my bag and walked right out of my job to be able to get to the school before she did. I also made sure her school knew that my daughter was not to be released to anyone other than myself or my husband. After getting off the phone with me, the school decided to contact the police and to put the school into a soft lockdown, which is when they don't let kids leave classrooms and make sure all the doors to the buildings are secured but they don't announce it to the kids so no one gets scared. On my way to the school, I called my husband and told him to meet me there and what was going on, and he actually made it to the school before I did. When I got there, the police were questioning my mother-in-law, and upon seeing her car packed full, I could tell her little adventure was meant to be a long-term sort of thing. She was actually going to try to steal our daughter from us over Santa. The police took her away, and her car was towed as well. When she was loaded into the squad car, her and I made eye contact for a brief second. She tried to keep her scowl, but quickly her face crumpled, and she started sobbing about how unfair this all is. She started crying even harder when the door was shut on her. As justified as we are, this was really hard to watch. I don't know how the legal system works, to be honest, but I'm hoping we can request that she be put into a mental health facility as opposed to a jail so she can receive the help she very clearly needs. We also filed for a restraining order against her, and we took her name off the pickup list at school. My husband's siblings have reached out to us and are completely horrified by what happened, and all said in their own way that they never expected things to escalate like this. While it was annoying to have it come to this before having their support, it is refreshing to have everyone on the same page about this finally. In terms of our daughter, we chose to let her finish the school day so she wouldn't know what had just happened to her. I received a lot of helpful advice in my last post about how to fix the damage my mother-in-law caused, and we tried a few of the things we were told to do, but I can sense that my daughter just isn't into it the way she used to be. Her wish list hasn't been added to since. My BIL has offered to dress up as Santa and get caught putting gifts under the tree to help reignite her excitement, which my husband and I both appreciate and are looking forward to. We also plan on sending her a letter from Santa telling her how excited he is to visit her and our dog this year, and I'll let you all know how this works out in the next update. Story 2. My mother-in-law doesn't let me have sex with my husband. My husband and I got married a year ago. He and I didn't live together before. In fact, we hardly saw each other because we both worked and studied at the same time, so our time was quite limited. We got married and went to live together in his apartment. Unfortunately, 2 months after our wedding, his father died in an accident. My mother-in-law and my husband, who was an only child, were devastated as it was quite sudden. My mother-in-law, left alone, began to suggest to my husband that we move with her to her house to keep her company. But because she is from another state, we couldn't due to our jobs and college. Then she came to us. Our apartment is 2 rooms, so my mother-in-law occupied one and my husband and I occupied another. I mean, my mother-in-law never liked me. She is one of the mothers who think that no woman is good enough for her son. As a couple who are still in the honeymoon stage, we had sex very frequently. Every day, even up to twice a day. This changed when my mother-in-law arrived, since the apartment is small, so I didn't feel comfortable doing it with her living there. The thing is that when we did have sex with my husband, my mother-in-law magically interrupted us. It didn't matter what time it was, even if it was 3 a.m., she casually got up and knocked on our door asking, "What are we doing?" Or telling my husband that she feels bad because her head hurts or things like that. This has been going on since my mother-in-law moved in with us. It's been a stressful 7 months. Besides, I have no privacy of any kind. She criticizes everything I do, especially my food. My husband tries to give me my place, saying things like, "It's not true, Mom. The food tastes good." What really annoyed me was the fact that she started saying that several things of value and money were lost in her room casually the day I stayed at home. I had the day off from work and study in the afternoons. I really got fed up. I told my husband that this really wasn't what I expected. I agreed to let her move in with us because my father-in-law passed away, and I was really trying to be empathetic to her and her pain. But I'm not going to let her call me a thief. Now I'm at my parents' house. My husband keeps calling me and sending me messages to come back, but I don't know what to do anymore. This is really stressful. Update. Hello, good evening. Thank you all for your advice and comments. I tried to read them all. I wanted to give you a little update. I returned with my husband last Thursday. While I lived with my parents, we were talking and seeing each other. The first time I agreed to talk to him, I told him that he really had to do something about his mother because our relationship was going down the drain. He kicked his mother out. She didn't take it so well. Remember how I told you she wanted to sell her house? Well, she actually did. She put her house up for sale. What surprised me so much is that she listed her house for sale at well below the average cost, considering where that house is located. Apparently, she was about to close the deal with some potential buyers. She hasn't communicated with anyone since she left. We also don't know if she returned to her house. And now everything is fine. My husband also thanked me because he couldn't stand having his mother in our apartment anymore. I also made it very clear to my husband that if his mother had behaved differently, I would never really have minded if she stayed with us. I feel a little bad for her, but she really brought it on herself. I was always kind despite her treatment. Thanks guys for your comments and advice.